So this is our first podcast. So welcome to Coffee, Community, and Cocktails. I'm Angela McFarland, your host, and my first guest is my husband, Jason.
That's right.
Co-owner of Vinyl Closet Records, Jacob's father. This podcast is really going to be sort of a free-for-all, which is kind of how my life works. There's going to be elements of talking to key members in the community, other nonprofits, special needs families, musicians, other podcasters, and sometimes if I just have something important to say. You will see, this is not going to be very professional because this is a family thing. In fact, you can probably hear Fonzie and Laverne playing with their toys right now. You'll hear Jake in the background. You'll see Jake probably walking around as he gives his father ample beers. We should get a sponsor from Miller Lite for this.
Yeah, really.
And
It's a good place.
you're probably going to hear Jake fake burp because that's his other. Oh, you're not going to? Eventually, I'm going to bring him in, but
Or the word fart before everything.
oh yeah, here's your fart beer, Dad.
Here's your fart beers, your fart coffee, your fart ice.
So basically, some backstory for anybody that doesn't know or that stumbles upon this at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're on a bender. Jacob is our son. He is 22 years old. He's an adult living with autism, severe anxiety, and ADHD. And in 2020, my husband and I decided to go all in on helping him start a business, and that is a coffee cart that we put inside of my husband's pre-existing record store. We were not mentally prepared for what was going to happen next. I don't think we were emotionally prepared for what was going to happen next. It literally, can you believe it's been almost 3 years? I know you're watching the game. You're a guest
no, I'm listening.
You are a guest on my
The game
podcast.
is right in front of me.
Turn it off then.
I will not turn it off.
Listen.
All I need to do is check the score.
The Eagles aren't even playing.
I know, but this is very interesting. Look, the Dolphins just got a turnover.
Who cares? Can you believe it's been almost 3 years?
No.
Or it'll be 3 years in May that we've been doing this.
3 years in May.
3 years in May.
When it started outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you believe it though?
No.
It's
unbelievable.
It seems ridiculous.
It seems
Sorry.
like it just started.
My producer, Stan Smith from the Express Lane podcast, is telling me to pull my mic closer. Yes, that's right. I said my producer.
I hope you're paying him.
I'm paying him in my undying gratitude and love. That's what I do.
Poor guy's got a family.
I offered him a beer. You pay everybody in beer.
I offered him a beer.
Yeah, see?
If you like the records, I can offer him records.
He does. You just don't carry what he listens to.
Mm-hmm.
But we're promoting the Express Lane podcast, which is our favorite local podcast. And if you are someone who listens to podcasts, you should listen to it. And if you're from Norristown, you should definitely listen to it because chances are everybody you know has been on it. I guess we got to start this one the right way, right?
I love that
like
podcast.
Russ Money. Russ Money makes his appearance on every podcast you do somehow. He's a popular guy. That's true. All right. So anyway, back to us. COVID hit. Record store was shut down. We were considered a non-essential business, if you can imagine. And Jake couldn't go to school. So the year prior, 2019, Jacob walked in his graduation ceremony and he actually got a fake diploma that day because he was considered to be a continuing education student, which is the case with students that have special needs or an IEP. They can stay until they're 21. The day of Jacob's graduation, he did not want to walk out on stage. He was the last one out of however many kids in Norristown High School graduated in 19, and he froze. His anxiety had gotten the better of him. The entire audience was silent, and then Jacob's older brother, Christopher, shouted, "Come on, Jake!" And with that, the entire auditorium erupted. They stood up. It was the most beautiful moment, I think, as a parent, either one of us have ever experienced.
Beautiful.
You sobbed.
Sobbed like a baby.
You did. I sobbed. My mother-in-law, his sister, Jacob.
Poor little guy
Jacob,
was back there like he was on an island.
He was. Jacob's sister, Teresa, cried. We were all crying. But when Jacob heard his big brother's voice, he came out. Reluctantly, but he came out. And when we were kind of ending the day, the principal said, was it the principal that said it? Yeah, it was. No, the vice principal at the time said to me, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
As he cried.
As he cried, yeah.
In front
that's
of us.
True. That's true.
Broke down and cried in front of us.
Because,
that's what it's all about.
it is what it's all about. So anyway, Jake, severe anxiety. And if you're a customer of the record store and you were pre-2020, you would often see Jacob at the record store when we were 2 doors down, and he would be sitting in the hallway. Usually he'd have headphones on, he'd be on his tablet, very little engagement, and if he did engage with you, it was all very scripted conversation, something that he had heard on, I don't know, SpongeBob or The Family Guy. See, I told you you're going to hear the dogs. They're fighting, but they love each other. So one of the things that we wanted to do when 2020 happened and he could no longer go to school for his continuing education program was find something for Jacob to do. And a lot of parents of special needs teens and adults, particularly those that are on the spectrum, their kids are gamers, their kids are really technologically savvy. They have something that shown through very early, and they can find a way to make that a career maybe. For Jacob, and because I was a recruiter for 30 years, the only thing he liked was movie companies, movie production logos, and
VHS tapes.
And I
DVDs.
racked my brain for years. How the hell am I going to spin this into a job for him? I prided myself on being the master of taking somebody's resume and fitting that square peg into a round hole. That was what I built my career on, and that was what I was known for. And I couldn't think of anything for Jake. But the thing to understand about Jacob and his father is they are best friends. And everything
fact.
And everything that Jacob does, I will zap you. Everything that Jacob does is directly related to his admiration of his father. So Jason has a couple vices, one of which is coffee. The second is Miller Lite. So please sponsor us, Anheuser-Busch, or whoever this is. Who is this? It's not Anheuser-Busch.
It's Miller, isn't it?
I don't know, Miller. So Jake started making coffee for his dad all the time, then for my mom. And then when we would have parties, he would make it for family members. I'm not a coffee drinker, so he would very reluctantly make me tea. So we jokingly, around the house, would call him Barista Jake. So when we were shut down, we had a conversation one day about how are we going to keep our customers engaged, meaning the record store. And also, what are we going to do with Jake during this whole thing? I still had a full-time job. So we decided to, much like a lemonade stand, do a curbside coffee cart outside of our record store. And it was a Saturday. We were going to do it on a Saturday. I think it was like the end of May. And the funny thing was, I announced it on a Wednesday. Just very kind of tongue-in-cheek. And by announced it, I mean I posted it on social media. If you follow me on any of the platforms, you know that I'm an over-poster. I'm an oversharer. There's probably nothing you don't already know about me. And much to his chagrin, you know a lot about my husband, too, because I'm an open book.
Can we stop it there for a second?
What?
That's all I hear from people is how much you overshare.
Well, then... There's this thing, it's called the...
Because the joke is, like, here's Jason taking a shit.
Wait, there's an unfollow.
Here's Jason burping.
I don't think people
mind
mind
sleeping.
that.
Here's Jason eating, picking his nose.
Well, stop giving me content. You're my muse.
Stop putting
But there's
all my
also an
stuff on
unfollow
there.
button. If people don't want to see it, they can unfollow me. I don't care. No harm, no foul, bro. So, long story short, or long story continually long, um, we said, why don't we do this curbside coffee cart? I announced it on a Wednesday on social media, and by Friday, he had gotten an unbelievable amount of donations. I don't even know what for, because he hadn't served one cup of coffee yet. All these people were tipping him. My girlfriend brought him, one of my girlfriends made him a t-shirt. Another girlfriend brought him, she had carafes made with his name on them, Barista Jake. And it was bizarre. But we still thought, well, maybe there'll be like 25 people. Because again, middle of COVID. We were outside. We had all of the security measures in place, 6 feet apart, masks, gloves, hand sanitizer out the ass, the whole bit. By the way, they'll be cursing. So if that's not
okay, right?
well, it's my podcast. It can be anything I want it to be. And I don't know how to talk without cursing. So
Perfect.
yeah. This parking lot was filled to the brim with family, friends, but more importantly, a bunch of people I did not know, that we didn't know, that had come to learn about Jake through social media, through a blog that I had at the time called Am I Being Inappropriate? Which was called that because that was something that Jacob would constantly say. He would say something that was often inappropriate.
Now's the time you got to give the plug for Am I Being Inappropriate?
I don't have that page anymore.
You got rid of it?
Yeah, when we started the business. Wow, this is how you know that Jason doesn't follow me on social.
I don't follow a lot of social stuff.
Yeah, I'm your wife.
I understand.
Okay.
But you tell me everything.
Yeah, I converted the page.
And you didn't tell me that.
I did. He also doesn't listen. When we started Coffee Closet, I changed the page from Am I Being Inappropriate to Coffee Closet with Barista Jake.
Gotcha.
Wow.
I thought you were keeping both.
No. Who's got time for that? I run your social media.
Sometimes.
I meant your personal life social media.
Exactly. You're chasing negative shit.
So, where was I? Oh, so all these people showed up, and then I started getting Facebook messages and text messages and emails from other special needs parents saying, loved what you did. Do you think my kid could do that? Do you think you could help with my kid? And I was like, I don't understand what's happening here, because this was literally started as a whim, as something to give Jake to do. And literally that day, we were outside for 2 hours. Now, mind you, it was the first time since COVID, so first time since early March that we had been out in public. We saw a whole bunch of people, and I think Jake was freaked out. Okay. I thought I broke him at one point because remember he was like, it's so hot. I'm so tired. This was like 5 minutes in. I can't do this. And we were like, oh, you're doing it. So I thought, well, that was a fun one-off. And then that night we got home, got cleaned up. He took a shower, and I was sitting on my bed, and he came in my room and he laid down next to me and he goes, Ma, that was a lot of fun. Can we do that again? And I was like,
absolutely.
Sure. We sure can.
Anything you want, buddy.
Anything you want. So the first time we did it, we made it a fundraiser for the Norristown Best Buddies, which is an organization that we do a lot of work with and that we strongly support. I encourage you as the listener, if you are in a school district that does not have Best Buddies, find a way to bring it to your school district, because it's an unbelievable organization that pairs a regular education student with a special needs student. And the beauty of that is they pair them together for social opportunities. So they have dances, they have parties, they do school events, they go to football games, they go to basketball games. And that's really when I started to see Jake finding himself around his peers. Because growing up, Jake always gravitated towards the adults. I know that that is the case with a lot of autistic children. I don't know why, um, but that
They're
program
old
meant a lot to
souls.
us. They are old souls, but you notice that. I mean, Jake was always wanting to be with the adults.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's why he likes all the stuff I do. I'm an old adult.
you are an old adult.
I
So,
don't act like it sometimes.
no, you don't. So then the second time we did it, we picked another charity to support. That's something Jason and I really are very philanthropic. We believe in giving back to our community. So that became sort of one of the core values of the nonprofit that we started. So, and I know I'm talking all over the place, and I'll eventually figure out how to go on a script. But if you've ever watched my Facebook Live videos, it's what happens. I just I go on a tangent because I think I may
It's all
too
right.
have a little bit of ADHD.
I think we all do.
Yeah, well,
I think
anywho.
everybody in this country and world has it.
Yeah. Anywho, so we decided, okay, we did the second one, and the draw was ridiculous. Like again, so I called Jason's best friend, John Dallas, who's very handy,
JD.
and I
Well, shout
said,
out.
dude, I donated like $500 to this charity, 500 to that charity. We got like 600 left from his tips. Think you could figure out how to build me a little coffee cart, something small that we can put inside the front of the record store, with the thought being that on the weekends I would bring Jake over when I was working at the shop and he could serve coffee. I'm thinking a coffee pot, just a little novelty thing. He said, yeah, I can. Well, see that monstrosity behind me with the big red light? That's what he built. It's even on wheels. He went, listen, when it came to, oh, this is for Jakey, he didn't care. He put wheels on it. He put plumbing in it. It's electric. It's got, he did he did an epoxy top that he put
Beautiful.
vinyl records in. It's
45.
unbelievable. He had his niece paint our logo that I designed on it. Like he went all in, and he did that for the love of us as his
Gigantic
friends.
heart that man has.
But he did it mostly for the love of Jacob. And what I started to find out is there was a lot of love for my son, a lot. And a lot of times when you have a kid with special needs, regardless of what it is, you can often feel very isolated or very alone. Friends sometimes will pull away because they don't understand. Because don't get me wrong, Jake is a lot, and he has a lot to handle. And an unmedicated Jake, well, that's where the name Jakezilla comes from.
We should have him on here sometime.
I am.
Unmedicated.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Why? I'll get locked up.
It would be awesome.
It'll just be me
everybody
cursing.
can see.
It'll just be me cursing and yelling because that's pretty much what happened.
But that's all right. That's the way it is.
Woo.
It is what it is.
Yeah, when he tried to grind the beans today using a grinder that doesn't work, he came out and he goes, "Don't yell."
I saw him doing that.
Great. You didn't stop him?
I thought the grinder worked.
I thought it worked.
He put the lid on it.
It did work.
Uh-huh. He put the lid on it. Good God.
There's a lid.
All right. So anyway, we did this, second go round. We decided to get this coffee cart. The day we had Jake's grand opening, we were now allowed to be open. It was the green phase within Montgomery County of COVID, so we were allowed to open. The day that Jacob had his grand opening, he did more business than his father did, which was...
He absolutely did.
He did. The line was out the door, down on the parking lot, all the way through. It spidered around through our store. And I was like, this is interesting. Then I started getting calls from news media outlets. Karen Rogers called me one day. I was driving up to my daughter's house, and I get a phone call. I don't know the number. I normally don't answer it, but something told me to. And it was Karen Rogers from Action News, which is my husband's dream girl.
Yes.
So I was like,
You're my dream girl.
Yeah, okay. I was like, holy crap, what is happening? So, and I'm leaving a lot out because, there's hopefully going to be a lot more episodes and we'll talk about it. But the end result was I was still working from home because our office was closed down. And I was spending more, and when I say working from home, I set up myself at the shop so that Jake could be open more often. And I was getting nothing done. And in recruitment, you only get out of your job what you put into it. And I had no time for that anymore, sadly. And that was how we sustained our family for years, because I don't know if I told you guys this or not, but Jason owns a record store.
Not that bad.
I know, but we relied on my income for a lot. We relied on my benefits for a lot.
There's a big market for dollar records.
All right. So I went to Jason and I said, hey, do you remember, at the time it was 10 years. I said, remember 10 years ago when you came to me and said you wanted to start a record store because you'd been laid off a couple times from corporate jobs over a couple years? And I said, okay, I'm in. I've got your back. I said, I need you to do that for me now. And I'm not very good with money, and Jason can make a nickel last for 12 years. So he had
That's
a couple
long.
questions.
Maybe 10.
He had a couple questions. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? And I think the only answer that I gave him was, we'll figure it out. I just need to know that you believe in me. And what did you say?
You got it.
And he did. And it has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, aside from raising a kid with special needs, because what I decided in that moment was that I was going to walk away from a career that I had for 30 years. I was going to walk away from a steady income. I was going to walk away from easily the best company I had ever worked for. Shout out Liberty Jobs. And I was essentially going to go to work for myself, but for my son and my husband. And I then started spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with my then, what was he, 19 at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
My then 19-year-old son and my husband. Now, if you wonder why this is called coffee, community, and cocktails, the cocktails part is key here, because I just said I spend 24 hours a day with my husband and my son. And that's a lot. So,
as long as it's not a problem.
It's not, right?
No.
Yet.
Yeah.
We have had, well, I'll get to that. So that's some backstory, okay? There's a lot more, but again, there's stuff that we can talk about in time. The reason I wanted Jason to be my first guest is, number one, because none of this happens without him believing in me, without him loving me, without him supporting me, and without him building. What are you patting me for?
Thank you.
Uh-huh. And without him, here's an idea. Let's not pile your beer cans up so that everybody knows how many you've had.
There was literally
3. It's been
Here,
10
Jake.
minutes.
Here, Jake.
By the way, when Jake's not a barista, he's Dad's beerista.
Yeah. Daddy's time off right now.
So, if Jason hadn't built the foundation, and that being the record store, and you didn't do it alone. I've been a huge part of this since
Absolutely.
the beginning. I've always handled his social media. I've always handled the marketing, planning, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But without that, I don't think this could have ever come to fruition. So here we are now, almost 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years in May in. We've got about 12 to 14 kids that have rotated through our internship program, where they work a couple hours a week here in the cafe, whether that be doing food prep, cleaning, helping me with social media projects, doing office work. But they're also learning social skills, and they're engaging with the community in a way that maybe they haven't before. But the flip side to that is the community is engaging with the special needs population in a way that many admit they never have before. And it's an interesting sight to see. There's a lot of statistics which we'll share. Are you snapping at me or the dog? Okay. My producer was making some kind of hand gesture, and I wasn't sure if he wanted me to do a trick.
What kind of trick are you going to do?
I don't do many. But, there's tons of statistics, which, again, will be another episode. But that's why we do what we do. And what we do is a lot of community outreach. Since we've been doing this, we have donated close to $50,000 in money, gift cards, services, clothing, supplies, and time to area charities. We do not generally partner with large corporate nonprofits because the small amount that I can give somebody doesn't really make a dent. But if I can donate $500 or $1,000 to, for example, our January charity partner is the Shane and Pepper Foundation in Lansdale, that $1,000 can go a long way in helping them with their employee. They also have a mission very much like ours where they hire special needs teens and adults. So it can go towards their employee abilities program, but also they have a campaign where they're trying to get a van outfitted for their son Shane, who is on the spectrum, but he also has cerebral palsy, to get that outfitted for Shane to have transportation. So those types of charities is really what's in our wheelhouse and what's in our heart. So that's who we are. That's what we do. But now I want to kind of get into focusing on Vinyl Closet, right?
Okay.
Because the goal of this, like I said, is I'm going to be interviewing people, musicians, small business owners, community leaders, like I said, other podcasters, other special needs people. Like Stan. Because to me, and maybe this is my Hallmark movie mentality, community matters, and community is what helps move the needle.
It takes a village.
It does take a village, which conveniently is the name of my parent group that I host once a month, called Creating a Village.
It's true.
So I'm going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
Okay? And I want you to be 100% honest. Do
I have to be 100% honest?
Yeah. I want your knee-jerk answers. I don't want you to sugarcoat it.
Are these like zip questions? Or,
yeah, they're going to be things that I know
or do I have to expand?
No. When I first came to you and said, I'm going to quit my job, you're going to have to cover us. We're not going to have any benefit. We didn't have benefits for 2 years. And we're old, so, try not to break a fucking hip. What went through your head? I know what came out of your mouth, but what went through your head?
You're scared to death.
You were scared?
Yeah.
But you believed in me.
I believed in you. I believe you can build something, and you can build it fast. But not having that income,
yeah,
scary.
Because at the time,
at our age.
Well, what did we?
I'm not saying I'm old, but at my age, you start getting the back issues, the joints, and all that kind of stuff. But you just worry one little thing could have put you.
Yeah. But I think the timing is fortuitous also, because this all came after we had 2 children out graduating. They graduated college and were in the process of either Teresa was already married and had moved out of the house. Christopher was, he was employed. He actually came to work at Liberty, and he is now the recruiter in the family. And so we didn't so much have to provide for them as much as, we did before. So our finances had changed a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And because you are good with money, you saved a lot to let us kind of do this in the absence of my income.
But then the tax man's going to come and knock.
All right. We're not. All right. So that was the first question. Okay.
Yeah.
What was your first thing? My second question is, regret getting on board with it.
No, not at all. Not only did I believed in you. I did. But to see Jake, how he is now, no amount of money.
Yeah.
You can't put a price on it.
No. We have said...
He's unbelievable.
I know. We have said multiple times we would live in a cardboard box.
He's totally changed as a person. We watched it right in front of our eyes.
Yeah. But we said before, you know what? It doesn't matter. We would live in a cardboard box to get the result out of Jacob that we have.
I don't think there's any parent out there that wouldn't do that for their child. And this is what people don't understand about autistic, special needs. Mm-hmm. You have to do more.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, you can't. I mean.
You can't just, people are like, you're crazy. You can't do, you do anything for them.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have the advantages. You got to have things, you got to create things for them.
Do you think that your parenting style with Christopher and Teresa was different than the way that you've parented Jacob?
I'm a pretty mellow dude, though. Like, if there was any kind of, disciplining, I would save it. Like I'd really save it for the moment where you and Kelly probably fly off the handle right away.
Kelly is Jason's first wife.
My battles.
Well, wait.
Right?
Kelly is Jason's first wife and the mother of Christopher and Teresa. Yes. So.
But with
Jason happened to have married 2 women in his lifetime that are very loud and pretty much take no shit.
It's true.
So you didn't really have to do a whole lot of disciplining with any of your 3 kids.
But I saved it for the right moments.
But what I mean is your relationship with Christopher was always sports and having a catch and that's how you guys bonded. And still, you guys text each other about sports stuff, right?
Teresa was movies, TV shows,
pop culture type
pop
stuff.
Pop culture.
I remember the day.
He's pop culture.
Yeah, but Jake is a mini you. I remember the day, though, that we got Jacob's diagnosis. And you said to me, and I don't know if you remember this, because I called you. You were at work, and I called you when he and I left DuPont. Mm-hmm. And I was a mess. I was a mess. And you said, does that mean I'll never have a catch with him?
Yeah.
That was the first place your mind went, and I think it's because that's what you were used to with your other son, right?
I think with me it was more how he would feel about that, experience that to me.
Sure.
I was like, he's never going to experience that, what it's like. He has no idea. You know what I mean?
At that time.
Yeah.
I think that...
So it's kind of like I'm thinking like, is he going to be able to do this and that, or is he not?
Yeah.
Or remember I said,
yeah,
is he going to be able to live by himself?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
He asked all the questions, right? Is he ever going to live alone? Is he ever going to drive? And I'm like, at the time, I was like, he's 3. I don't know what tomorrow's going to look like.
You don't know.
I don't know if he's going to ever be potty trained. I don't know if he's ever going to walk. I don't know if he's ever going to talk, because at the time, he wasn't doing anything because he was so delayed. Cut to now, he does not shut up, and I'd like some of that money back.
Speech therapy.
Yeah, I would really like to get in touch with his speech therapist over the years and say, yeah, I think you were playing me.
But it's funny how I tell people about Jake all the time, and there's people that don't understand what he does, right? And there's people that don't understand how I can take it.
I'm one of those people.
Like they'll say,
I am one of those people.
How do you stand that talking all the time? I'm like, I kind of like it. I do. Because, look, that's him. That's who he is.
I know.
It actually makes me sad.
Look at his face.
In the morning, what do you do in the morning, bud? He'll come up. You already left no, it was before that. Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? He leaves with me.
He does leave with you.
The morning is me and him fighting.
He would come up and, no, you're downstairs. It's like when you're off.
When we had our house.
Yeah, when you're...
We lost our house in a fire.
Yeah.
So we live in a hotel right now.
Don't talk about it.
And it's not like Eloise. Mind you. Go ahead.
But he would come up and wake me up and be like, "You want a cup of coffee, Dad?" Right when I'm waking up. Sure, Jake. So he goes down. I go in the bathroom to do some business in there.
That wasn't necessary. I can edit that out, right?
I'm not just standing in there. There's a point.
I know you're not just standing in there.
I go in there, and he comes up and he's like, "Dad, open the door. Dad, open the door. Dad, open the door." The door's shut. I open up the door a little bit, and he's like, "Here's your coffee, Dad." And he sits there and waits for me to say it's delicious. So I say it's delicious. But then when I shut the door, repeated questions for I've worked it. It's about 40, 45 minutes.
Which, there's no reason you need to be in the bathroom for 45 minutes.
No, it's on purpose.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You're in there playing on your phone.
No, I'm answering his questions.
I know what you're doing.
And then it gets quiet.
Mm-hmm. That's when his meds have kicked in.
His meds have kicked in.
Yeah.
But that kind of bums me out.
I know.
He's not being who he is, you know? It's a bummer.
I know.
At the same time, it's, thank God. But at the same time, it's, damn, he's not who he is.
Well, that was a fight. That was a fight for us, right? So in the role of parent, I was the homework parent. I was the one involved with the school. I'm the disciplinarian. I'm the one that put expectations on Jake. Jason, like you said, pretty laid back guy. He's their buddy till he's mad. So when we knew that there was something up with Jake, and that started for me, I knew at 6 weeks, which people are like, "How did you know?" Mother's intuition is a real thing. But he started services at 17 months, and that took me probably 14 months to get scheduled, because every time I took him to the doctor, the pediatrician kept saying, "Well, he was premature. He was less than a month early." And they're like, "Well, he's a boy. They develop at a different pace." I'm like, I'm telling you that there is something wrong. So if you're a parent,
you just know
that is watching,
you know,
and you suspect something is wrong with your child, you are the best advocate. So get on it and don't listen to what the doctor's saying. If the doctor tells you no, find a different doctor, because you know your kid.
Because you knew it right away. And
I did.
And nobody...
I didn't know that it was autism, though.
Right.
I didn't know.
What do you do? You knew there was
but
something.
Then 17 months, he started services. He started speech, occupational therapy, PT, OT. And they kept saying, well, it could be this, it could be that. First, he was just diagnosed with a global developmental delay with the etiology unknown, or PDD-NOS, pervasive developmental disorder. But then they would throw other names out. Could be this, could be that. And the first thing I did, now mind you, I'm going back 22 years. So the first thing I would do is Google it, which any medical professional will tell you, do not Google. But of course I did. So I feel like you got your crash course in autism and special needs parenting from me.
Oh, yeah.
Jumping in both feet.
Yes.
And reading everything I could read, talking to everybody that I could read, incorporating myself into conversations with people. And then I would come to you and I would say, this is what I found out. And I feel like that you kind of you had the Cliff Notes version.
Correct.
Right? So there were a lot of questions that you would have that...
Well, kind of going back, like, you want to know, like, I didn't just come up with that question because I'm just curious. Like,
no,
what's he going to be like? You know, is he going to be able to drive? Is he, you know, my thing is, I want to know what it is.
Yeah.
And I want to see how I could fix it.
Yeah.
Or learn and deal with it.
Yeah.
Going forward. You know, it's not like I just want to wallow on my self-pity.
Right. Well,
like
and
I just want to know what it is, and then you can try to fix it as a parent.
And that's the thing, too. So the thing that I would say...
The sad part is you can't fix it.
No, you can't fix it.
But you can make the life better.
And that is exactly what we did. We made the conscious effort to say, okay, we can't make him not have this. But what we can do is everything in our power to give him the best life possible and acclimate him to as many things as possible. And I remember the doctor saying, well, he'll never graduate high school. He probably won't talk. He'll never have a job. Again, I'm going back, 20 years, and advancements in what doctors know about neurodivergent individuals is very different than it was then. But when you're told that, you can absolutely begin to wallow in self-pity and the woe is me of it all, right? But I told this story to somebody else once. The day that we got Jake's firm diagnosis, when they said he is autistic, I was leaving DuPont Hospital with him, and I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. I was sobbing. I was sick. But a parent was walking in with their child who clearly had a terminal illness. And the mom and I kind of locked eyes. And in that moment, I made a commitment to myself. And I said, you know what? Autism is not fatal. Autism is not going to kill my child. He's going to have an uphill battle for sure. But it is what it is. I just have to change perspective.
But the first thing we said was, if he has to live with us forever, he lives with us forever.
That's it. We had family members.
We're okay with that.
Do you remember? We had family members that said,
well,
are you going to look into a home?
I'm like, so?
Yeah. We had family members that said, well, are you going to look into a home? Nope,
No.
we sure aren't. He has one. It's with us.
Right.
We will never be empty nesters. Well, I actually, you know what? There was a time where I didn't think he'd ever work. Now he owns his own business.
Well, props, like, what really made me feel good is when Jake was younger and we had that yard sale or garage sale, and a gentleman came up with Joey. Remember Joey?
Oh, yeah, that's the day that you decided to sell records, too, isn't it?
Yeah. But he comes up with Joey, and Joey was a 24, 23 autistic man. And he comes in, and he's with his dad, and I'm like, wow, it's a lot. It's a lot to take care of,
He was not as advanced as Jacob either.
But still.
Right.
And I just pulled his dad aside because Jake was little, and I just wanted to get some information. I said, how's Joey doing? And he just said, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. He goes everywhere with me, and we're good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow.
Didn't the mom leave?
What really crushed me.
The mom rolled, right?
The mom could not handle it and left him at 8 years old. And just left. And never came back, never contacted, nothing. And this man stepped in and took over. And here it is. He's 23. What's that? 23 minus 8 is what?
I can't be this cute and do math.
Right?
I don't know.
But anyway, all those years of him alone with this boy, and what did he say? What did he say to me?
16?
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
He's a good boy. Yeah. Like he just, God bless him.
That spoke
that's
to you,
a hero to me.
You told me that
like
story.
You stepped right in, and you're like,
all right, but
screw
wait a
everybody
minute. Wait a
else.
minute. He stepped in, but it's his kid.
No, I know, but I'm saying alone.
No, 100%. And I understand.
He took it over. He was like,
this
okay,
might
mom's
be
gone.
a hot take. This might be controversial. I understand the mom losing her shit and saying, I can't take this anymore. I don't understand leaving.
Correct.
But if leaving was the best decision for Joey, then maybe that was the right call, right?
Correct.
Like I don't know. I don't know what the ins and outs of their situation is now, but
what's important between us, and we don't normally take it, where I can be like, yo, when he was younger.
Oh, yeah.
I could have said to you, go ahead, go out.
Yeah.
Go do something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I would be okay with it.
Yeah.
You would be okay with it.
Absolutely.
Same with me.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
In my
100%,
opinion. But
100%.
we never took it.
We didn't because...
We were always like in it together.
But wait. We also always had my parents.
Yeah. And they
took
believed
it.
in him. And they took it.
But they took it.
Yep.
When it would be too much and we would want to go to the shore, when we would go to dinner, whatever it was, Nan and Pop stepped in, and they took him. He's their only grandchild. Jason's parents have 5 other grandchildren. So it was, it was hard. And they would take Chris and Teresa.
And look, the things they don't talk about is when Jake's that age and you take him out to Kmart or Walmart and you're walking around and people are staring at him and laughing and making fun. You're the bigger person and you're walking around and you don't even bother with. You don't even look in their direction.
Yeah, I did. I gave a lot of stink eyes and probably told people to go fuck themselves.
I took it.
You did.
I took it a lot. I was like, you know what?
Them.
I'm not going to let them even seep into his person. I'm going to blow it all out.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
No, you did lose you lost your shit when we took him to get his vaccine during COVID.
That was over the top stuff.
Yeah.
Shit, I mean, literally, almost, you might as well just point at him and laugh.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, come on.
What's your favorite Jake story?
Oh, my God. There's a million of them. I'm telling you, I think my favorite stuff with Jake is when I'm in the bathroom.
Like he's so excited.
But when I'm in that bathroom and he's just hammering me with questions outside. You like Folgers coffee? Yeah, Jake. You like black soak? Yeah, Jake. You like dark roast? Yeah, Jake. Yep. Yes. You're doing that the whole time.
Yeah.
And then, but all of a sudden, it's just like dead silence after 40 minutes. And you're like,
so your favorite Jake story isn't when you took him to the thrift store and he got his hand stuck in the vending machine because he was trying to get you. Why would
that be my favorite?
Because he was trying to get you a Mountain Dew.
Awful. I was in line paying for something.
Oh, God.
Dad. I'm like, I look over and it's one of those machines, the soda machines. And he's got his whole arm in there. Right? And I'm like, oh, no. And he's like, I can't get my arm out. And I'm like, I'm paying like real fast. I'm like, I got to get over there. So I go over there.
Thank God my friend was the manager of the store.
His arm was stuck in there. Right?
He was up to his,
tried to pull
I almost said his elbow. What's this thing? Your shoulder.
Yeah.
He was up to his shoulder.
When you tried to pull his hand out a little bit, he would scream. And then he lost it. And he started bawling.
Yeah.
Screaming. And all these people come over. Poor baby. And then, next thing you know.
What was he, like 7?
Police.
6, 7?
ENT. No. What is it?
EMS.
ENT's my...
Yeah.
Police,
you
EMS.
Had to call an ear, nose, and throat doctor?
And fire department shows up. They had to cut the whole machine apart to get his arm out. I mean, they destroyed the machine. And my buddy, you went to high school with him, and I'd known Larry because
our kids
played ball together. He was like, I was like, dude, what do I do for the machine, man? I'm like ready to give him $1,000. I don't even care. And he's like, don't worry about it. We got you.
But he goes, don't ever come back here again. But he was kidding. I thought it was going to be that or the times that you've gotten out of tickets because are you Jake's father?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I pull over there like, wait a minute. You're Jake's dad, aren't you? Yeah. Just be careful. And
that happens because of my excessive posting. I just want to be very clear.
It's true.
I think my favorite Jake story is, so he's very food specific. He eats 6 things tops. He's label specific. You cannot trick him. I've tried. And this was back when he was little. He was on a pancake kick. He happens to be back on the pancake kick, but now it's Lego or Eggo. But then it was Aunt Jemima.
By the way.
Which I don't think you can call it that.
I have to get off track, but if any autistic child wants to eat pancakes and Ensure diet, make sure you get a bunch of plungers for your house.
Oh, true. The kid shits concrete bricks.
Anyway. Toilet's clogged up again. It's every time.
Look, he's loving this. You guys can't see him, but he's standing off to the side.
You see me in there, I'm like, yes.
He loves hearing stories about himself. So, at the time, it was Aunt Jemima. I know they changed the name. I don't know what it's called now. But we're in the grocery store, and they changed the box. Might not be a big deal to, Sally and Steve down the street, but to a special needs family, particularly somebody on the spectrum, end of the world.
This is a kid. He only eats Mare's white bread.
Without the seeds.
Without the seeds. I literally bought Giant's white bread.
Italian bread.
Yeah. Took it out and put it in a Mare's bag, and he still didn't want it.
He knew. I have bought.
You gotta be kidding me.
So the box.
Hey, this is like $4. This is $2.
So
the way he eats.
The box for Aunt Jemima, what they changed was they added a logo. Do you remember this, Jake? Yeah. They added something that said "Made with Love." It was a simple heart. That's all it said that was different.
I don't like it.
He freaked out in the middle of Giant.
I don't want it.
Don't put them in the cart. I don't want my pancakes made with love. I was mortified because he was screaming at the top of his lungs. But I was more concerned with, holy shit, what am I going to feed him now? Because he would go on a hunger strike and all these people would go, he'll eat when he's hungry. The hell he will. We ended up in the emergency room.
So many times we have to hold him down and shove food in his back.
Oh, my God. And I'm an Italian mother.
Screaming.
So I can't tell you how heartbreaking it is that this kid has never eaten one of my meatballs.
You're talking like...
My meatballs are legendary.
We sat him down at one time. It was like... I don't know if... Are they seeing me?
Well, yeah.
Mashed potatoes, probably about that big.
Yeah.
And it took an hour.
And because all I wanted him to do was touch the fork, like put it on the fork, and then there was a step, right? It was touch the fork to your mouth, touch it to your teeth, touch it to your tongue, eat it. I couldn't even get him to touch to his mouth. And this went on for, I'm crying, he's crying. Jason's like, forget it. And I'm like, I can't forget it. But eventually I was like, you know what? That is not the hill that I'm going to die on today. And we decided to forego that. Yeah. It was a lot, right?
And then he was malnourished.
Yeah, he got malnourished.
Because he wouldn't eat.
Yep.
And we were trying to force food in him.
Well, we also tried the gluten-free, casein-free diet, which was a big fad back then for kids on the spectrum. Mm-hmm. That resulted in zero benefit to him and him losing 10 pounds in a week. And he was rail thin. Before we introduced Ensure to him, he was rail thin.
He started getting a belly with the Ensure.
Now, well, it could just be genetics, too. Mm-hmm. I'd pat my own, but I got to go potty.
Me too.
All right, so.
I'm going to need a break.
Wrap it up?
Potty. Okay. Wrap it up, yeah.
So.
Wrap it up. Sorry.
Okay. Well, then, you know what? Let me just ask you a couple more quick questions.
Okay.
And then
I'll make it
we'll
fast.
wrap it up. And then can I do Jake for a little bit? Okay. That won't be long because he's getting antsy and wants to go home.
I have a 53-year-old prostate.
Okay.
Hurry up.
Here, let's talk business for a minute.
Business.
What's your favorite thing about working with your wife and your son every day? Most people have their job to escape to.
Real quick, look. A lot of people are like, how do you do it? Being your wife all day long.
Well, that's because I'm alive.
Being with your son all day long.
But I'm alive.
And you know what? I love it. I mean, it sounds cliche, but I don't mind it. I mean, we don't bother each other.
We don't.
I do my thing, you do your thing.
Yeah. But we defy a lot of odds, too.
But I think that the best thing we could have done is you take yourself to work and I take myself to work.
As opposed to what?
If you're going together to work and
carpooling.
leaving every day together, that makes a big difference. You still keep your own personal space.
Can we start swapping off and I can leave without Jake and you can take him? No?
Jake has to be here before me.
Okay, but, just like 5 minutes. I'd like to listen to something besides KYW.
Next question.
What is your least favorite thing, though, about us all working together?
I don't really have a least favorite.
You don't?
What would be least favorite?
I don't know. I have to get on your nerves. I get on everybody's nerves.
Do I get on your nerves?
Yes.
Well, that's human. We're human. We all get on each other's nerves. I'm sure if I hung around with Stan for a week,
from a work perspective, as a coworker. Because trust me, you survey 9 out of 10 people that have worked with me, you survey them, they're going to say, that bitch is loud.
The thing that I could say, there's one thing that gets on my nerves.
When I take over the radio?
No.
Oh.
Is when I'm in the back, in my area, and you're here, what's that, 50 yards away?
I don't know.
And you just scream, Jay, come out here.
Yeah. Should I text you?
Yes. And then I'm like, I got to get up now. I got to walk in. And I walk out, and you're like, this is Stan. Okay. Hi, Stan. I meet him. Just want you to meet him.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Text me.
I'm not on a man. All right.
Tell me. Come on out. I want you to meet somebody. Right?
Let me ask you this. What's one lesson that your job has taught you that you think other people should know?
Okay. My job meaning what?
An entrepreneur, owning your own business.
Grass is always greener. Don't let people tell you that owning your own business, fantastic. As far as you're on your own time.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, if there's one day you're like, I'm sleeping a little bit later.
You're on my time.
Can.
Let's be serious.
But it's 7 days a week, and it's nonstop. You're always in it.
Even when you
can't not be in it.
Even when you're not physically in it.
Right.
You're mentally in it.
You're mentally, and you're at home. You're researching on your phone. You're sitting there. You might be sitting there watching shows. And I'm looking things up, and it's just the way it is.
That's true.
But there's pros and cons. Yeah.
I think. Why do you think we work?
Me and you?
Yeah, because
music.
think about it though, right?
It's music.
The statistics of parents of kids on the spectrum.
Right.
The marriage rate the divorce rate is, I think, higher than the national average. I don't know.
I just think we're.
But we didn't even get married till he was 12.
Right.
So
I just think we get it.
We lived a life. We cohabitated, which, sorry for all the people that don't believe in that, but, we lived as a family without it being official, and then got married while we were in the thick of it with him. Mm-hmm. When he first started taking medications, when he got diagnosed with ADHD, we were in the thick of it, and we still got married.
I think part of it, too, is you rely on each other. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you need... Who's the only other person in my life that would understand Jake? And who's the only other person in your life that would understand you? Me.
Yeah.
So you kind of just feed off each other,
So
sometimes it's like, screw you. There's all that, but
that's the other thing.
Happens.
Like, we bicker all the time, but we don't fight.
No.
We
not
haven't.
Really. Yeah.
The last big.
I'm pretty laid back, though. I could fight if I had to.
Oh, trust me. I
I
have tried to provoke. I have tried to provoke him to fight with me.
Come on, Jerry.
Sometimes I'm feeling froggy and I want to jump, and he's just like, whatever, which makes me even more angry.
I get it.
But I guess just like with any other married couple, the biggest things that we fight over is money. The fact that you call me cha-ching.
If you look at the grand scheme of things,
yeah,
you have a husband and a wife. They have an autistic child. When they break up, it does nothing but hurt that child. Speaking from experience, I got divorced. Those two weren't autistic.
No, and you are the child of divorce too, though. You're the child of divorce.
And I'm a child of divorce. But there's a big difference when you have someone who's on the spectrum or, autistic.
So are you saying both. You're staying with me for Jake?
Absolutely. No, I'm kidding.
Jerk.
No, I'm saying...
Get off my podcast.
No, I'm saying that both of us understand him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we...
But I think we have a shorthand, too.
No, but we have a good relationship.
We do.
We're music people. We understand the whole... I think our thing is music.
It is. And we have more in common than we don't. I mean, you're more conservative and I'm more liberal, but we are our views about things. Our focus is always on our family.
Right.
I am more of a spender. You're more of a saver.
That's the truth.
What? Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, that's what he calls me. Cha-ching. I'm like,
here's another 20 Amazon packages.
Look, they
I
make
got
it
the dog a bone. You couldn't go to the store to get it, yeah?
No, Archie. They make it so easy.
I did. I used my Archie voice. I didn't realize.
You did.
Sorry.
All right. Well, this will be the first of many because when I don't have really important people to talk to, I'll just have you back on.
You're trying to say I'm not important?
No, I'm trying to say that.
That's good.
I'm trying to say that I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you.
You got it, man.
And we will, once I figure out what the hell I'm doing, I'll help you launch your podcast.
Well, my podcast is next.
Yeah.
You gonna help me? Mommy!
Why are you trying to steal my producer? Go to the bathroom.
He's the best.
Man. Get out of here.
Look at that smile.
I know.
What a good dude.
He's very charming.
All right.
I
got to go fix my prostate.
Oh, my God. I don't know. All right. So do we end this one and then start one with Jake? Or do I just tell Jake to come on up? Okay. Take your coat off and come over here. So we're going to do this just like we do. Take your coat off.
Is this going to be a long one?
No.
It's only going to be just so
Take your coat off.
It's only going to be for a couple of hours. Do I need to get closer, do I?
Probably.
No,
You're going to need to put these on.
No, I don't need to get closer.
Yes, you have to talk into the microphone.
Is talking into the microphone like this without pushing?
Now, see, I can see you over here, so come on.
Hello?
Hi, Jake. Yeah, you can see that webcam. Do you see the webcam where Stan's pointing?
Yes.
All right, so you know how when we do our Facebook Live, you look at the camera?
Yes.
Okay, so you can do that, or you can look at me and talk. What would you rather do?
Look at Facebook Live.
No, it's not Facebook Live. I'm just saying, like, when we do Facebook Live, you look at my phone.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So, do you understand what we're doing here?
Yes.
Lean up. What are we doing here?
We're making a podcast.
Why don't you scoot your chair up a little bit?
No, it's good. It's okay.
Okay.
We're making a podcast.
And what's the podcast about?
Coffee Closet with Barista Jake.
It's actually not.
It's about...
What?
Nothing.
What'd you say?
Hope.
It's not about hope. What's it about?
I don't... autism.
A little bit. What else?
Working.
Yep. And?
I don't remember.
Okay. So we're going to talk to a whole bunch of people, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll have you on it.
Yep.
And we'll talk about things.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about your business, who you are, what you do, why you love it?
Yeah, I love it. I make coffee, hot tea, iced tea, lemonade, Italian cream sodas.
Who are you?
Barista Jake.
Barista Jake. And where did you get that name?
From you.
From Mr. Me?
No, from you.
From me?
Yeah.
And what do you love about being Barista Jake?
I love working. I'm making my customers their coffee, and it's going great.
How come you love to work?
Because it's a passion. Because it's a passion.
Yeah, but, sometimes when, like in the morning, right?
Yeah.
When I say, come on, it's time to get ready for work, you fight with me.
Yeah.
So if you love your job so much, why do you make my blood pressure rise in the morning?
I don't know.
No?
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest change that you have made since you started working?
I'm having a job, doing learning.
Learning?
And helping out the transition kids.
Do you love that?
Yes.
Wasn't it cool? Because they were your classmates. And then one day, the next day, right? One day they were your classmates, and the next day you were their boss.
Yep.
How'd that feel?
Felt great.
Did it feel weird?
No, it didn't feel weird. It felt really great.
Yeah. I love, you know what I love? I love watching you give new people a tour. And I love when you show your new associates what to do. And I love the way that you engage with your customers. It makes me really proud of you.
Yeah, it does. I'm up.
What?
Nothing.
What were you going to say?
I wasn't going to say anything.
No?
No.
I like hearing you when I'm sitting in my office and you're out working at the cart and you're by yourself. And, you know, I can see on the camera when customers come in. But I like hearing you greet the customer. And what do you always say?
Thank you.
But before that, you always ask a couple questions. What do you ask?
Would you like a cup of coffee?
Right. And then when you're making the coffee, you make small talk, right?
Right.
Which you never used to do before.
No.
So some of your small talk is you say, how'd
you hear about us?
That's right. And you ask people about their families. In fact, today, that very attractive woman that came in for coffee, I was told that you asked her if she had a daughter.
I shouldn't have asked that.
You dog. Remember what I said? Hate the
Sorry.
And there's the fake burp.
Oh, sorry, Ma.
Remember I said don't hate the player, hate the game?
Yes.
So what do you hope Coffee Closet with Barista Jake becomes? Do you want us to grow?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Would you like us to have other locations?
Yeah, I would.
Where do you think we should open another location?
Probably around here. Like we'll think about it.
We'll think about it?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. What do you think about our ambulance?
I think our ambulance is great. I really like the ambulance.
You do?
Yeah.
What do we use the ambulance for? Jake?
I would use the ambulance for work.
Right. But to do what?
To serve people. To serve people, our customers, their coffee, and drive around and mobile events.
That's right. And where did the ambulance come from?
It came from everybody. Especially it came from Mike Apple.
Well, he helped rebuild it, but where did we get the ambulance?
From Plymouth Community Ambulance.
That's right. That's right. And then we had a bunch of people that donated, right? And they're our sponsors.
Yep.
And we show them on the side of the ambulance.
Yep.
Right? Stan was a sponsor. Stan and Kevin, the Express Lane podcast, were sponsors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Why do you think it was important for us to get an ambulance so we could do mobile events? We were doing them in the car.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we were.
Why is it better in the ambulance?
Because it's better because I like working in the ambulance, and it's better to work in the ambulance because it's a good experience for me to experience my my learning skills.
Okay. I like that answer, but what were we doing before when we had to put things in the car?
We had to put stuff in our other car.
And that was hard, huh?
Yeah.
Because was there ever any place for you to sit?
No.
No. And sometimes you'd be packed in, surrounded by gators and coffee and creamer and right?
Yep.
What's that?
Yeah.
Sit up. Yeah?
Yep.
So what does Barista Jake like to do when he's not at Coffee Closet with Barista Jake?
I like to talk very much.
Yep, he sure does. But what do you like to do when you're not here? When we go home, what will you do?
Be on my iPad.
And what are you doing on your iPad?
Watching stuff on there.
What are you watching?
I don't know. I know. YouTube.
You seem a little like you don't want me to know. Watching YouTube?
Yeah.
What do you watch on YouTube?
Family Guy intro, all that.
Yeah, what else? Who's your favorite YouTuber?
Cinema Sickness.
Cinema Sickness, and who else?
JBG travels mostly, but
JB, what's his name?
JBG travels, but mostly, I mostly like him, but not that much. But I just watch him like a couple of times.
You watch him all the time.
I know, but
and is he the guy that goes to the grocery stores?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't go to grocery stores usually. He just has some videos where he went to where he just went to Walmart. And that's it.
Well, who's the guy that goes to the grocery stores?
Oh, the guy that goes to no, I have no idea.
Okay. What's your favorite movie?
Jimmy Neutron.
Still?
I think so.
Who's your favorite singer? Besides me.
I don't know.
And actually, that's a joke because every time I sing, he goes, "Mom, you can't sing."
Yeah.
Yeah, which is rude.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, who's your favorite? If I said to you, let's listen to music right now, what would you want me to put on?
Billy Joel.
That's right. And what's your favorite thing to listen to in the car?
KYW.
How come?
KYW.
How come? Who do you love on KYW?
Ian Bush.
And we'll sign off with this because I know you want to go home. If Jim Gardner was listening to this,
yeah,
because he's your all-time favorite,
yes,
what would you say to him?
Thank you so much for listening.
Would you ask him anything?
Yeah, I would.
What would you ask him? Come closer to the microphone. What would you ask him?
How did you start your business?
His business?
No. How did he? No, I know how he started. No.
How did he start? Tell me what you know about Jim Gardner.
No, I don't.
What year did he come to Action News?
No, I don't.
Sit up here. What year did Jim Gardner join Action News?
I don't remember.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, 1976.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 1976, but.
But what?
Yeah, he originally was somewhere else, wasn't he?
Yeah, sit up here. Tell me something else about Jim Gardner.
He worked. He was friends. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he was friends.
With who?
He was friends with Rob Jennings, but
Rob Jennings.
Yeah, and then he retired.
And you know some pretty impressive statistics about somebody else, some other newscaster.
Monica
Malpass. Oh, well, fun fact, one of Jacob's first words ever was Monica.
No, and Nat said Hanukkah.
No, it was not Hanukkah. It was Monica because he had an Exer saucer. And it was in the middle of the living room, and he would sit in it and bounce, and he would, have his little lunch or whatever, and 12 o'clock news would come on, and it was always Rick Williams and Monica Malpass. And one of his first words was, Monica. That's what he used to say. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And what's your favorite thing to drink?
Inshore lemonade. Oh, Inshore lemonade.
What kind of lemonade?
Turkey Hill.
What kind of Inshore?
Inshore Original and Inshore Plus.
What flavor?
Milk chocolate.
And what's your favorite food?
Eggs and pancakes. Eggs and pancakes.
What else?
McDonald's.
Yeah?
Yep.
You didn't say coffee.
Oh, coffee, yeah.
What kind?
Dark roast.
What makes the perfect cup of coffee? Is it the beans? Is it the grounds? Is it the water? Is it the cream? Is it the temperature?
I'm not sure. I think it's the temperature, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, it's the temperature and the coffee.
And would you always tell me that water these days?
No, I don't.
You don't want to do that?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, tell the listeners thank you.
Thank you for coming to us.
For watching.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you.
Okay. Bye.
Did I embarrass you?
No. Not today. Yet. It's early. All right. Go. All right, guys. So that's a wrap, I guess, on our first episode. Now the fun starts, and Stan has to teach me how to edit it. But I've got some great people lined up in the coming weeks. So you can look forward to me talking to Melissa Nowitzki from the Rib House, Joel Richardson from Soul Joel's, Maureen Stanko from So Much to Give. As I mentioned, Stan and Kev from the Express Lane. I've got a lot of other small businesses that I'm reaching out to that I want to feature. Also, the charity partners that I select that we work with each month. So this month is Shane and Pepper Foundation, so I would love to be able to catch up to Marie Pope at some point this month and talk to her. So there's a lot of good guests coming. If you liked what you saw, what do I say? Drop it. What do YouTubers say? Drop a link. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. And come back next time, I guess. Is that all right? All right. Peace. Thanks, guys.